Good day, everyone. I'm Mike LaCorte. Welcome to another episode of Leaders Podcast. Leaders Podcast gives me the opportunity to speak to some of the most influential leaders in the investigation and intelligence space. Today, I'm joined by Sanjay Kaushik, who's based in Delhi. He's the Managing Director of Netrika Consulting India. Sanjay, pleasure to have you on today. Really look forward to our conversation. Just before we start, could you just give us a brief introduction, who you are, what type of work you do, and then we can take the conversation further.
Thanks, Mike, and pleasure to be on your podcast. As Mike said, my name is Sanjay Kaushik. I'm heading Netrika Consulting. I started my career way back in 1994 from a very small detective or a personal private investigating company in Delhi. Starting from a private detective company to moving to a risk consulting company and diversifying into various aspects of risk and intelligence is something which has taken 31 years of my career. When I say the entire gamut of enterprise risk management, we not only do the normal intelligence gathering, which could be human int, which could be tech int, but we have also diversified into cybersecurity, which is one of the larger threat area across the world. But we've also established the digital forensic lab of our own. We have everything in-house, and probably we are one of the largest company having around 350 full-time team members spread across offices in India, Dubai, and Singapore.
Fantastic. You've been in the industry 31 years.
Yep.
How did you get involved? How did you start? Tell me about your sort of initial
very interesting. I was waiting for my final year graduation result. I was in Ramjas College, Delhi University. I was waiting for my final year result, looking at some classified newspaper ads to find the job or the next earning opportunity in the life at 21 years old. I saw an ad saying a detective company is looking for an investigating officer. At the age of 21, I thought I'm the Sherlock Holmes or James Bond of the world, because both the words detective and investigation actually really attracted and was very tempting. Went for the interview, got selected, and stuck to the industry.
Wow, fantastic. So you worked somewhere else, and then when did you decide to set up on your own, as it were?
I started in 2013, so we are 12 years old. Prior to this, I worked with various Indian and multinational companies. I have been the CEO for a very large international company, brought that to India, headed them for around 7.5 years, and then in 2013 started Netrika.
Fantastic. So India, fascinating country. I've been there many times. How do you investigate in India? Tell me what are the challenges in terms of conducting, some field work, investigation work, record retrievals. What's the challenges for an investigator operating in India?
So I'll go back a couple of years, not couple of years. In fact, when I started 3 decades back, when we never had the mobile phones, there was no communication methods. And while you will have to do a surveillance, you will have to put one person far away, the other person, he will signal like you will see in some of the James Bond movies. Right. He will signal to him, and then he will follow him on the 2-wheeler, 4-wheeler, whatever the case may be. Now, it has totally changed. There's a lot of information which is available on open domain, which we called as OSINT. There's a lot of information which is available there. Then, once you have that information, you can build up on that particular information which you collect through the open domain sources, and then start conducting your inquiries. As I said earlier, it is always divided into 2 to 3 different parts. It is largely on the human end, open sources. There is huge amount of information which is available. Then once you use that OSINT, then you send your people on ground. You do the field inquiries, you investigate. There's multiple, every case has a very different way.
Sure.
One thing is very, very important, and just to tell you that I'm also a certified fraud examiner,
right?
And I'm also the ASIS APAC board member. So when I'm a CFE or a certified fraud examiner, I also teach we at Netrika are the only authorized trainers for CFE exam in India, and I particularly teach law and investigations.
Right.
Why I'm bringing this up is because there is a very thin line between what is legal, what is not legal, what you can get in open domain and what you cannot. What is that the client is demanding? What is that you cannot give to the client? You have to be very careful of the information which you can legally obtain and hand it over to your client. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to do anything wrong which your client is asking for. You should be able to educate your client saying that this is possible, this is not possible, or there is an alternate way of getting that information. Most of the time, the client will come and say, can I get the call records of this person? Can we get the phone tapped? I said, yes, you can, but you have to go to the law enforcement. We are not law enforcement. It is the only law enforcement who can do that. Mm-hmm. However, if you want to get that information, we can do it. We can do the surveillance. We can do it in the in the public space. Private space invading is not possible. So these are some of the challenges. Good thing is, still this field is not licensed in India. Right. We do not have the very clear laws right now in India. Although there are multiple laws, IT laws are there, the privacy laws are not very strong. Like in UK, you have GDPR. We still do not have it. We are waiting for our DPDP Act, which is Data Protection Act, to come in. Once the Data Protection Act comes in play, the way we handle the information, the way the information is gathered will change quite a bit.
Yeah, good points you raised earlier in terms of managing the client's expectations. Sometimes clients come with a particular request that I want X, and X could be completely illegal, right? The way they want to achieve X. However, as an investigator, there are legal alternatives, but it takes you round, and you've got to do the inquiries in the right way, under the right legal guidance and coverage, and to achieve the objective in a similar fashion. And I get that managing the client as an investigator in the private sector is probably the most challenging of tasks. So I take it no licensing in India. Is it difficult to become an investigator in India if you wanted to set up?
Since there is no license, you can start a shop tomorrow, buy a domain, open your website, start the work.
You're right.
It is difficult to maintain that reputation and to deliver that work. There are many fly-by-night operators, which has been putting bad name to the industry. Sure. And we've been trying to do a lot of work through various forums to say that only work with the right kind of people. Sure. And as you know, though India is a very, very large subcontinent, and we are 1.4 billion people, still this industry is very, very small, and your reputation always grows faster than whatever you do in the market. So maintain the reputation.
100%. You can set up fly by night very quick. Will you get any work? Who knows? But you're right. There's no structure in place, which makes it challenging. So in order to build a reputation, what steps could you do? How do you make sure that your reputation becomes established?
So for us, the very important thing is the delivery of the assignment, which we take from the client. Mm-hmm. We work with many Fortune 50 or Fortune 10 companies of the globe. We have the global corporations into our client list, and they've been our client for 12 years when we started. They've been regular client of ours. The more important thing is setting up the right expectations, under promise, over deliver, never do the vice versa. If once you are able to deliver it, the right, I always tell to my clients that my first delivery will decide that whether I can have the next cup of coffee, beer with you, or you will not even answer my phone call. That's the simple rule of the business. Delivery is very, very important. What is that you're giving to your client? How much you're keeping your promises to the client? I understand that in the intelligence field, you might not get 100% of the time what you're looking for or your client is looking for. But always demonstrate your client that you have put on your 100%, your efforts are genuine, and you have promised or you've delivered what you have promised to your client.
Yeah, completely. You spoke about CFE, Certified Fraud Examiners. You spoke about ASIS. How important are associations and any other associations that you're a member of? Or what would be the benefit of joining these?
See, the kind of these global associations they bring, one is the credibility, networking, knowledge sharing. I'm part of not only the CFE or ACFE, which is Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, ASIS, CII, WAD, and there are multiple other organizations which I have been part of. I'm also a Rotarian, where we do a lot of charity work. These associations, one, they give you the, like I always say, for CFE, the CFE certification is actually the gold standard in the fraud examination field, because there is no other certification equivalent to CFE. If you look at least as per my knowledge, I might be little challenged on my knowledge, but as per my knowledge, CFE is the best certificate which is recognized globally on the fraud examination side. Similarly, ASIS have a certification on security called CPP. That's the best one to have been on the security. So these associations give you the credibility, the networking, the best networking you can have. The the recent CII and WAD conferences in Chicago was the one of the best ones. I sadly missed that, but there were a lot of colleagues. My son was there, and they were very, very nice networking opportunity to be there.
Yeah, completely.
And of
agreed.
course, knowledge sharing. The global knowledge sharing. Today, any crime, any fraud is just not done within the geographical boundaries of the cities, states, or the countries. For an example, we have an office in Dubai. The kind of frauds happening between Dubai and India, the kind of money laundering, the Russian hidden assets coming to Russian money coming to Dubai, there's huge amount of investigative work which is required to be done in Dubai. And the kind of information you can provide to your clients being there, and the cross-border work which you can do is phenomenal. And these associations give you that network to deliver to your client. You can't be everywhere.
No, correct. Completely correct. And well said, Sanjay. I completely agree with you. Talk to me about...
Sorry interjecting, but in one of the cases, I was looking at somebody foot on ground on Virgin Islands or Cayman Islands, and then I wrote to one of these groups, and immediately within few minutes, I got that answer that, hey, I'm here and I can get this work done. It's cheap. It's been done by somebody who's experienced, who's been already vetted, who's been part of that association. So you get a good network to work with.
Yeah, you're leveraging contacts and screened, vetted investigators in other jurisdictions around the world. I completely agree, Sanjay. We built a business on the network that's out there, an international network, and that's hugely important. And it's part of every investigator's tools that they need if they want to work internationally. Completely agree. With no licensing in India and the rise of private sector investigators, and 1.4 billion people, you said, right? Wow. What's the private-public synergy like in terms of the authorities, the law enforcement? Do they like you guys? Do you work together? Is there information sharing? Is there a support for one another? Or are investigators looked upon in an unlicensed, unregulated area? Are there any challenges? What's the relationship like?
So again, if you look at, so let me divide the entire industry in two parts. One are those PI firms who are one-man show or probably just 3-4 guys, and small companies. They will not have their inroads to the law enforcement, and probably they will try to cut corners, and they will be on the wrong side of the law, and law enforcement will never like them. There are companies like us who work very, very closely with law enforcement. there are multiple departments of law enforcement where we act as an extended arm to them. There are few departments where my teams are always part of when they go for their digital, when they go for their enforcement raids. My team are the part of the digital forensics because they do not have those people. We are the one who are part of these digital forensic raids, and we do the entire digital forensic work there with them. There are some of the departments where my teams are sitting in the department and helping them monitor the dark web because they do not have those capabilities or the manpower, and my teams are supporting them. When I'm saying my team, it is Netrika team, but yes, there are other agencies who are also closely working with the law enforcement. So that to answer your question, yes, we work very, very closely with the law enforcement teams across. However, there is still a lot of improvement required. There is still a lot of room where this partnership can increase and grow, and we can still work together.
Is there anything you can do to help that?
We've been working with, on the education side, I'm a big fan of trainings, awareness, and education. I have been a regular visitor to multiple law enforcement training sessions where I go and teach them, tell them, make them aware, and also work with them to ensure that whether if we are not even getting money, they should know what are the things which are available. For example, if there's a cryptocurrency cross-border investigation, law enforcement will take a lot of time because of the bureaucracy, the kind of documents and other things. We with our network can, if it is in UK, I can reach to Mike and say, hey Mike, can you help me in this? And you will have your own network and say, yes, Sanjay, why not? Let me just get into some of the contacts and get you this information.
Yeah, completely agreed. So do you think the insight and the trends, let's talk about that a little bit in India. And I know that there was a global report released not that long ago in terms of the requirement for private sector investigation services is on the increase, especially with the new scams that are out there, as we all know, with AI, deepfake, crypto. There's all these new technologies. With new technology becomes new opportunities. With new opportunities becomes new scams. Okay, everyone's looking to leverage. How do you see the trends and the insights develop, especially in India?
See, again, as I said, we have been working very closely with the law enforcement, but there is a lot of opportunity, huge opportunity actually, because when we see India is not Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. It is much bigger, much vaster, much bigger spread, right? And as we say, the India lives in villages, and we have to see that what is the law enforcement have the capabilities to go to those places? What is the kind of information that they can avail from there? We have been talking to the government. For example, there is a department called Civil Defense. Like you have something called Homeland Security in US, we have Civil Defense. And now there has been a lot of collaboration which is happening between Civil Defense and the private sector. We also at ASIS International, we have been talking a lot about private-public partnership, especially in the cyber side, the digital forensic side. AI and deepfake has been a big issue because you never know what is real or what is deepfake. That's been becoming a real issue, and the kind of cyber frauds which are increased. If you see the numbers, they're mind-boggling.
No, completely. And that's everywhere. And, every investigator's being challenged at the moment in terms of upskilling, leveraging AI, utilizing other resources. And the frauds are very challenging to uncover. I want to talk about your leadership journey, Sanjay. You started 31 years ago and then set up 13 years ago and built quite a substantial company. I mean, 350 employees is a good size company. What do you look for when you look to recruit and employ an investigator? What type of skills, what do you look for when you're looking to hire?
I think the major thing is the attitude. You can still tell a person, you can train them on the skills, but attitude is something which you cannot change of a person. Attitude is very, very important. There have been people who have been working with us for last 12 years. Very proud to say that our founding team, the people who joined us when we started, they're still around. They're still with us.
Good.
And that shows the kind of commitment we have for the team. 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, there are ample amount of people who have been with us. Attitude and attitude is something which we really look for. I will not be, if I'm interviewing for a senior position and if I'm meeting a person, I might not be even looking at their CVs. I just talk to them for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, probably not in the office, maybe in a coffee shop or at a lunch or somewhere outside. Meet them, understand the person's attitude, and if that matches the entire company culture, the company vibe, yes, we take them on board.
Great insight. And what makes a strong leader? You're leading a team of 350 people. There's that's challenge. That's got its challenge in itself. What would you think makes a strong leader?
A lot of people say that you take care of your clients and they are the king and they're the best. I see it vice versa. You take care of your team and your team will take care of your clients. For me, my team is or are the people who actually builds what Netrika is. It's not what Sanjay Kaushik makes it. I've always been of the opinion that Netrika is a bigger brand than Sanjay Kaushik. Sanjay Kaushik is perishable, Netrika is not. We are looking to build up a legacy which should survive for much, much longer period. Before Netrika, I was in a company which is more than a century old company, a US-based company. I want to leave a legacy behind of that nature. And it's the team which can take that.
Good answer. What's next for Netrika then? What's the next challenge or what's the next generation for Netrika? Where's your vision taking you?
We're looking at 2x of our growth in next 3 years, where we are right now in the terms of revenue numbers. And then most probably, we're already in Dubai and Singapore, maybe expanding towards US in next couple of years. Largely, we are right now in the process of consolidating and seeing that whatever we have built now, we should focus on that area. There is enough growth in the sectors like cybersecurity because dark web, AI, deepfake, even people like us are learning every day. I've been speaking on multiple sessions, multiple TV shows and other places. The most important is that we are also learning. If we stop learning, I think we will be out of the industry, especially with the AI, deepfake, and all these kind of cyber crimes and happening. I was reading an article day before yesterday, which says that there are borders near Myanmar where there are a lot of people who have been human trafficked, and there are centers which are used for cyber crimes, and there are similar kind of centers across India where even the police, fears to go. They do not dare enter those villages or those places. And when we look at one of the case where we found a couple was digitally arrested and they lost a couple of million US dollars, it was found that the guy behind that was a Nigerian, and we know how long Nigerian frauds have been there in the industry.
You're right. They're pig butchering scams where there's compounds of people that have been human trafficked working 18 to 20 hours a day in front of a computer to try and trick people to send all sorts of a variety of frauds. You're right. These pig butchering scams are widespread. And you're right. Myanmar is one of the locations, and there are several others in the Far East that house these compounds. If you're a young investigator listening to this podcast and you're considering entering this industry, what bit of advice, what bit of guidance, Sanjay, would you give someone who's either just started to join the industry, considering a career change, maybe leaving the with a law enforcement or military background looking to come into the private sector, what type of advice, what would you give someone who's coming into this industry fresh?
A lot of people talk of work-life balance. If you're coming here, forget that. You should not be looking at New Year, Christmas, Diwali, or some of the other public holidays. You should be looking at doing some good work for the client. If you're into private investigative sector, probably these are the times when the clients are more demanding. They want more surveillance to be done on those times, and you really need to work very, very hard. I know, been doing surveillance for 36 hours continuously, have been there on the ground for 36 continuous hours. Today, people talk of 8 hours of work or 7 hours of work or 6 hours of work. Friday afternoon, switching off their laptops, going home and resuming on Monday with red eyes or whiskey eyes or whatever you call them, and think that you can grow. I think one thing which, cutting it short, hard work, persistence, and there is no shortcut for success. It's going to be long-term hard work, which is going to bring success to you. There are no shortcuts in life.
Great bit of advice to all young investigators listening. Hard work, persistence, no shortcuts, but more importantly, forget work-life balance. It doesn't exist in the private sector investigation space. Sanjay, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, getting to know you a bit more, understanding how Netrika works. Exciting times for you and your group. I'm sure we'll be in contact again very soon. Sanjay's details are coming up on the screen now. Feel free to reach out to Sanjay. Thank you once again for Leaders Podcast.
Thank you, Mike. Pleasure.